What's up, y'all? Welcome to Top Surgery 101. It's your boy Nick, 33 years old, trans man here from Boston, Mass, born and raised. I wanted to just do a video or make a channel dedicated to trans men. Anyone who may want to, learn more about the lifestyle or the lives that we live, or the things that we encounter in our lives. Here's a channel for that. So, a little bit about me. Again, like I said, my name is Nick, 33 years old, trans man from Boston, Mass. Was born and raised. Been transitioning since September 1st, 2016. Just celebrated my first anniversary this past September. I just had top surgery October 5th this month, 2017. Amazing experience thus far. I actually wanted to start my videos a lot sooner than I did, and I went through a couple of rough patches where I kind of didn't want to, and then I wanted to again, so I decided, hey, why not? You know what I mean? Take a different approach. So anyway, Top Surgery 101. I just want to give people a couple of tips, let you know what to do, what to expect right off the bat. My first piece of advice is to honestly take your time. There's no rush. I know we all get excited because transitioning is something that many of us never thought to be possible. Not only that, but we didn't think that we'd have the guts enough to even do it, or enough courage to finally do it and go forward with it. So when you finally start doing it, and you're taking your testosterone and muscles coming in, your voice is getting deeper, you're getting excited. Of course, why not? Why wouldn't you? It's just puberty all over again for a lot of us, or puberty the first time around for some of us. So it's very easy to get very wrapped up in the moment and get extremely excited, and sometimes you want to rush things. I would just want to say, within your transition altogether, rushing is probably the worst thing that you can do. Prime reason is that these changes are for life. So if this is something that you've spent years and some time thinking about, if you've lost people due to this, if you've invested a lot of yourself into this, don't do something stupid as rushing yourself into getting your services, or into getting your tea, or rushing your transition, taking extra testosterone or anything like that to try to get results quicker. It's not going to do anything. It's very detrimental to your health, and it's just not smart. So when it comes to top surgery, I suggest take your time. Do your research. Find the perfect doctor for you. There are many doctors out here. I'm not going to list any of them because I'm not here for that. I'm actually here to just give you my own personal reference, which I will name her. But there are plenty of websites out there. I will specifically tell you to Google. Google will be your best friend. Be patient. Take your time. Top surgery is something that, experiencing it now after the fact, I've known people to, have to deal with top surgery without being trans. And to be of trans experience and to kind of go through that was my very first surgery ever in life. And that's a pretty serious surgery to have. You get put to sleep, and you're out for however long it takes your surgeon to do whatever they're doing. So I was out for about an hour or so. My surgeon made it very, very comfortable for me, and I trusted her before I even got to the delivery table. I'm not having a baby. Before I got to the operating table, I trusted her. So anyway, that being said, basically it's very important for you guys to understand the procedure from top to bottom, or from start to finish, and to also get to know your surgeon. Understand that a lot of surgeons out here, just because they do top surgery, does not mean that they are familiar with trans folks. So that does not mean that they are going to be friendly or sensitive to your needs. Does not mean that they are going to keep up or respect your pronouns and your gender marker and such. So just be aware of that. Also be aware that most insurances should cover most of the surgery. So if you're getting charged any extra fees outside of pocket, definitely do your research. Not saying that it's something that you won't come across, and I'm also not saying that it's something that's against the law, but it's something that will happen. There was actually a surgeon that I had my eyes on from when I was actually researching. Um, wow, yeah, sorry about that. When I was actually researching, Jesus, like you can't get a fucking break here. Sorry. So anyway, when I was researching transitioning, I actually came across some of the information here that I'm going to share with you as far as the cost goes when it comes to surgery. So, it's typically thousands of dollars. I'm not going to put a price on it. When I started looking, I heard anywhere between $6,500 and $8,500. It could be more than that now. It also could depend on the surgeon themselves. It could depend on what they choose to call the procedure, because the procedure is definitely listed one way with your insurance, the medical term way with numbers and all kinds of weird things and stuff that you probably can't pronounce. And then you have what your doctor will call it. Sometimes it matches what your insurance calls it, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's the same thing. It's just that there are different codes and ways for them to communicate with each other, and then a way for them to communicate with you. So all of that being said, what I'm basically getting at is very, 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 very lucrative and very important to your sanity and your results, as well as the money that you spend and what comes out of your own pocket. Very important that you do your research and do not rush, because as I was starting to say, basically I came across a guy very early on. I've barely been seeing my therapist. Top surgery was just my very first thing that I knew that I was going to do. Couple of reasons why. Ever since I started growing breasts, I didn't want them. So no offense to the women out there who love their breasts and who have had to cut them off. But I personally, in my position, I was born female, but have always resonated to the male aspect of life. And I've secretly lived as a male in my entire life. So my breasts were, for the most part, in my way. So it's a very freeing thing. So, in the beginning, I was very, very, very much so, even before injecting myself with testosterone, very, very much so intrigued with the idea of someone removing my breasts. As weird as that may sound, I was afraid to give myself the testosterone. Couldn't really fathom that in my head, but I could fathom and somehow see and picture someone removing my breasts. So yeah, that's that. But anyway, I found him, and I was just fixed on him, and I just, every other day or so, I was looking him up. I was getting everything situated. I started calling my insurance. I didn't know what to really ask, what questions to ask, and now that I think about it, it was great practice, because the second time around, I went back to him, and at this point, when I went back to him, though, there was something called an out-of-pocket fee. Now, the first time I went to him was about a year and a half prior to the second time. So this so-called fee was not really mentioned the way that it was mentioned then. So I had taken it from the first time, because the first time I was approved, I just did not have the time, money, nor the correct emotional state of mind actually to do it. So in so many ways, it didn't work out, which is great for me. But in the end, I ended up having to go back a second time. So when I did a second time, that is when the out-of-pocket expenses were mentioned to me. And so again, because I had already gone to him the first time, I had assumed that was just gonna be something. I basically assumed that I was gonna get the same results. You're approved for surgery, and you just pay $1,000, deductible, copay, whatever. So boom. I get that, and then I get a call from his office basically saying that I have to pay not only the $1,000 deductible, but additional, I think it was like $3,000. I fought about it. I talked about it in a group that I'm a part of, And a lot of people, a lot of men, basically said in so many words, that it's not cool, because I guess my thing was a moral thing and value thing. It's just like we have a lot to consider, to worry about, to think about, to freak out about as far as being trans is concerned. And healthcare is like the hugest thing for us. And it's very hard to trust people. So I just kind of felt like, he basically made a little bit of a niche for himself, which isn't bad, you know what I mean? But within a community that's already pretty very vulnerable, you know what I mean? So I just kind of felt like, really, guy, like so you're gonna charge an extra service to perfect my chest, when I just feel like, because I'm going through this process already as a surgeon, if you're gonna elect yourself to do this type of process or this procedure, either roll that into the cost overall so that insurance can help pay for it, or just make that a thing that you do out of good faith. But to charge me $3,000 more to basically certify and guarantee that my chest is going to be sculpted perfectly, I don't really see that as a thing that I should have to pay for, to be honest with you. I feel as though that's a little bit of a smack in the face. So I was a little bit pissed off, because I kind of took it as, all right, sir, so I get it. You're great at what you do, but now here you go smacking me in the face with, okay, cool, yeah, I'll remove your breasts, but if you want it done perfectly, not only do you have to pay the regular $8,000 that you have to pay to get it done anyway, yeah, your insurance is going to pay that, but I want you to pay me an extra $2,000 to $3,000 to verify that I'm definitely going to do it in a way that pleases you. And it's like, no thanks. So anyway, I moved on. I found a different doctor, Dr. Melissa Johnson. She is out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Feel free to look her up. She, from what I hear, attends different trans conferences, so I'm sure a lot of people are aware of her. I am from Massachusetts, again, so I'm about an hour and a half away from her. Superb service. Amazing service. She's an amazing surgeon. Very, very informational. Very, very respectful. Her care team, both at her hospital, at the hospital that she operates out of, and in her office, are very, very professional, very, very helpful, very kind. They call you whenever they need to. They don't miss a beat. So for me, and on top, not for nothing, I'm about, in a couple of days, I will be about 4 weeks post-op, and first of all, let's just talk about the healing. The way that I'm healing is amazing. I'm healing like a good 2 to 3 weeks quicker than I thought I would. My drains came out within about 7 days. Said 10 to 14 days originally. Came out about 7 days. The incisions, they're fresh new cuts, okay? And let's just say that they look amazing. I don't really know how else to like describe that to you guys. At some point, I will actually post a couple of pictures so you guys can see, but amazing. So I am actually very, very excited, even though I won't really be able to enjoy and see my actual results until about a year from now, because that's about how long it takes for scars to disappear as much as they ever will for the most part. It takes a couple of years for them to kind of fade away, which makes sense because there's scars from childhood, and I'm like, hey, I used to have a scar here, and it's kind of gone, so that's good. So yeah, so she is amazing. Definitely look her up. Bay State Medical is where she operates out of. Pioneer Valley Plastic Surgery. Google that. You'll find her. She's from Springfield, Mass. Again, Melissa Johnson. So she's awesome. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so take your time, because I was able to find her, and honestly, I was so fixated on the first doctor because of his results. I saw his results with a lot of men that were about my size. I didn't really see too many men that were bigger sized, so because I like to kind of like see the difference so that I can see that you're actually skilled. Not only, you don't have that much of a niche that you're only skilled with this particular body, with this particular this and this particular that. No, I want you to just be skilled in this particular thing, and whatever I throw at you, you can finagle it pretty much. So I kind of wanted to see a couple of different body masses, but it looks like he may only work on guys my size, or a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Plus, that was a rumor that I had heard anyway. Not that it bothers me, but I just wanted to see. So I tell you guys that to also say, nothing is wrong with wanting to see a couple of different results. If you do not see anything, don't ever schedule an appointment where you're actually getting surgery. If you want to do pre-op or whatever, get some questions answered or whatever, cool. But without seeing any pictures, befores and after results of these doctors, and I'm talking about multiple, not just one-offs, an actual collection. Don't do it. Don't put yourself in that predicament, and that's what I mean by taking your time. It's very important that you guys do what's best for you, because transitioning is not something that we can wake up tomorrow and change. And it's not healthy to do so anyway. I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, well, if you just take testosterone and you don't want to take it anymore, you can just start taking estrogen. Yeah, but the human body can only take but so much. So the simple fact that we all have estrogen and testosterone in us, and we choose to, move away from that and say, okay, I want more of one or the other rather than what I was assigned, to go back and then do the reverse is a lot. So definitely take your time there. What else? What to expect. So pretty much I can't tell you what to expect as far as your actual experience is going to go, but what I can do is give you a summary of what may happen for the most part. So basically what you're going to do is that you're going to research your surgeon. You're going to look someone up online. You're going to find communities. There are plenty of online communities, a lot of Facebook communities. A lot of them will just require you to answer a couple of questions to verify that you are trans. Again, these are things that you're going to have to research on your own. I don't particularly want to give out certain page names because I don't know who's going to be watching this video. And number one thing I don't want is for people to start getting, bothered or chastised. It's one thing for people to come to my page and do that, but it's another for people to reference something that, I said on my video, and then they go harassing these people or pretending to be trans and harassing these people within these groups. So what I will do is say this: Google is a hell of a search engine. There are plenty of private groups out there. There are plenty of websites that come up nowadays for trans folks. All you literally have to do is Google what you're looking for. Facebook does have some closed groups. People will add you. There's a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of trans men of color that I know of anyway. In particular, that I see a lot of faces. When I see certain similar faces, I know that the group is kind of real. I hope so anyway. So you'll see that. You'll see a lot of people within the same groups, multiple people in the same groups. These are real groups. Some of them are pretty fun to be in. Some of them are very informational. Some of them are very uplifting. So that's what you'll do. You'll go and you'll research your surgeon. You'll figure out who you want to use. Pretty much what your surgeon is going to do is they're going to most likely need a letter from you. The letter pretty much should come from your therapist. The letter from your therapist is just basically going to have to verify that you are of trans experience and how long you've been of trans experience. There will be certain surgeons. I had a surgeon that just needed me to send in a letter from my therapist, basically saying that I have been on testosterone for this amount of time, or that I pretty much have been living as a man for this amount of years. So it's either or. So you're going to have surgeons who basically they're going to require something of you or some things of you. So definitely, if you are thinking about transitioning, your very first thing before you start doing any types of um, surgeries or looking into surgeries, doctors are going to want to know that you are a person of trans experience. You are actually living this life. This is not something that you're just thinking of doing. This is not just something that you're playing around with, because they have to make sure that they're actually removing something that you want to have removed because it's being removed forever, or they're adding something that you want to add because it's being added forever. So it's very important that you get these letters. So be prepared for that. Get yourself a therapist if you don't have one already. Therapist, psychiatrist, whichever you prefer. I say therapist only because I've never seen a psychiatrist. I don't really believe that I need to see one, and I don't think that I don't think trans people need a psychiatrist. Just my spiel on it. If you're already seeing a psychiatrist, then easier for you. You trust that person can get you a letter. But pretty much you're going to need someone in the health field, mental health field, who can have your back on these things. So get that. So you find your doctor. Your doctor's going to require you to get some forms. You're going to need that form from your therapist or psychiatrist, whoever you're seeing, mental health. You're going to need to call your insurance. If you're paying out of pocket, easy peasy. You don't need to do any of this except for the letter from your therapist. I believe that you still would need that, even if you're not going through insurance. Going through insurance is how you're paying for it. It's not to really prove that you're trans. You still need someone on the outside saying that you are and that you've been being seen for it, and not seen for it, but you've been documenting your journey and learning how to live with the rest of society as they pretty much have a bit of a struggle with people like us. So, yeah. What else? Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, to wrap it all up, you are going to make sure that you have a therapist if you don't have a therapist just yet. You can think of top surgery. You do not need to necessarily already be taking testosterone in order to get top surgery. I know that much. But I also know that in different states, different cities, different healthcare providers, there are different guidelines. So, universally, the best advice to give to any and everyone, no matter where you are, no matter what kind of health insurance you have, do your research and find a trusted surgeon. Find someone who has amazing, amazing, amazing customer service, because when you ask questions, you don't want to feel as though they are being biased towards you because you're trans if they just suck at answering questions. So just keep in mind that, our healthcare stuff is a lot more sensitive than other people's healthcare stuff, because the questions that we ask, we have to be very comfortable asking them, and we have to be asking people who are comfortable answering them. And we have to make sure that we're asking people who support us in our lifestyles. So again, be very, very, very careful with the surgeons that you choose. Make sure that they have done this procedure time and time and time and time again, even if it is not their best procedure or not, something that their practice is known for. It's just a service that they give. I would say to make sure that you go with a plastic surgeon, because they are used to doing breast augmentation all the time. So do that. I would also say to stay away from anyone who's never done it before, even if they are a really great surgeon. There are just certain surgeries that everyone's not supposed to do. And I would say to make sure that you see pictures and you see testimonials, real ones. Look on YouTube. There are plenty of videos just like this one, or other videos. I'm sure people have way more in-depth information. Check those out. What else? After you do that, call your insurance. Call your insurance. Ask them for your specific policy plan. what I also learned doing this procedure is that your job picks your plan. So they pick, not only do they pick whether you have, Blue Cross Blue Shield or, Harvard Pilgrim or whatever else is out there, they pick specific things within your policy. So, they pick what your co-pays will be. They pick if you get specific surgeries, they'll pick if you need to pay a co-pay or not, or if they'll cover it. So I found out some really interesting things, some great things, and a trans policy. If you have Blue Cross Blue Shield, they have a trans policy, which is amazing. Um, did not know that. I had to call into my regular member policy, and I was educated on that. I think that most places who, offer health insurance, I think that their health insurance should offer a trans policy, only since most places, say that, they don't